So in the last class we have seen the leakage reactance of the transformer. Okay. How to get the leakage reactance of the shell type transformer and core type transformer, and if there is the split in the winding layers. Okay. So today we will move to the no load current. No load current. The no load current. First we will take single phase transformer. Consider single phase transformer. Okay. So we know that whenever we connect the primary of the transformer to the supply, so this be the primary of supply transformer, secondary of transformer. Okay. So when I connect the primary to the supply source, let this be V1. When the secondary is not connected to any load, then I will be having a small amount of current drawn by the primary known as no load current. Okay. So this no load current will be drawn by the transformer the moment source is connected to the primary winding, irrespective of whether there is load or not on the secondary side. Okay. So this is the minimum current drawn by the transformer from the source. Okay. Even when the load is off. Okay. And this primary current drawn at no load is called no load current or I0. Okay. So this current I0 will be in such a way that the magnitude of this I0 is very less when compared to I1 or I2. So this I0 is much less than I1 or I2. Okay, or full load current. So it is hardly 2 to 5% of the full load value. Okay, it is hardly 2 to 5% of the full load value. So if you remember the experiments what you done in the previous semesters in the lab, the open circuit and short circuit test on the transformer gave us the 2 kVA transformer we had, 231 115 volts, and when we connected the supply of 115 volts to the primary and 230 volts was kept open, the normal current rating of the transformer was 8.6 bar 17 point some 3 or 4 amperes. Okay, but the no load current drawn was not more than 0.6 amperes. So the full load current on primary to 115 volt side was 17 amperes around, but the no load current drawn was only 0.6 amperes. Okay, so this will be the amount of no load current. It is hardly 2 to 5% of the full load value. Okay, but it is not the negligible current that I can neglect because it is doing some work. Okay, so when I connect the primary to the source, I will connect V1, the supply voltage, then the current I0, the no load current I0 drawn from the source will be lagging behind supply voltage V1 by an angle nearly 90 degrees. Why? Because the winding of the transformer is made highly inductive and very least resistive. Therefore, because of the large reactance of the primary winding, the current will be lagging behind the voltage by an angle almost nearly 90 degrees. So if I consider the vector of I0, it will fall. Okay. So let this be I0. So this is the no load current I0 drawn from the source, and it is existing at an angle phi naught. Okay. It is existing at an angle phi naught. And this phi naught is nearly 90 degrees. Okay, it is not exactly 90 degrees, it is nearly 90 degrees. So this vector I0, okay, now can be resolved into two vectors. A current component which will be in phase with the voltage V1, a current component in phase with the voltage V1, and a current component which is at an angle 90 degree with respect to V1. So the current component that is in phase with the voltage V1 is called IW or IC. Okay, what we have taken here is IC. Okay, I will follow the same thing, and here this is IM. Okay, so the component which is in phase with V1 IC is known as core loss component. Okay, and IM, which is at an angle 90 degrees with respect to V1, is called magnetizing component. Is magnetizing component. Okay, so remember one thing in any electrical system, the current that is in phase with the voltage is responsible for any kind of losses, and the current at an angle 90 degree from the voltage is not responsible for any kind of losses. Okay, so this current IM is the magnetizing current. Okay, and this current IC is the core loss component of the current, and the flux produced by the primary of the transformer, that is phi. The flux produced phi will be always in phase with the magnetizing current, so only it is called magnetizing current. Okay, so the flux that is produced because of any current flow in the winding will be always in phase with that current. So flux and magnetizing current will be always in phase. Okay, so this is my no load current. Okay, this is my no load component of the total current, no load component of the total current. Now how I can give this? It has got two components. Okay, so no load current, it has got two components. Okay, core loss component IC, and magnetizing component IM. Magnetizing component IM. And from vector diagram I can give I naught is equals to, under root IC square plus IM square, and IC is equals to I naught cos phi naught, and IM is equals to I naught sin phi naught. Okay, IC cos I naught cos phi naught, and IM I naught sin phi naught. So this is the active component of the no load current. This is the reactive component of the no load current. Please remember one thing: active component of any current will always do the work or contribute for the consumption. Reactive component will always contribute for magnetization. Okay. So the core loss component can be written given as, okay, so the core loss current or core loss can be mentioned as, now what is the input power? At no load, whatever the input power is given to the transformer is core loss. Because in transformer we have two types of losses, core loss and copper loss. Okay, but at no load, since the no load current is very small when compared to the full load value, the copper losses occurring because of this current I naught will be very less. Therefore, I do not usually consider copper losses at no load condition of the transformer. Okay, hence we generally neglect the no load losses of the transformer, no load copper losses of the transformer. So whatever the power that is being drawn from the source by the transformer is completely utilized for the iron losses. So whatever the power that is drawn now, V1 into I naught is nothing but my iron losses. Okay, at no load condition, any electrical machine will draw only the loss amount of power, because load output is 0. Okay, power delivered to the load is 0, therefore output given by the motor or the generator or the transformer will be 0 when the load is not connected to that machine. Then at no load, whatever the power is drawn by the machine is contributed only for the loss. So the no load input directly I can take it as no losses. In some cases no load copper losses can be neglected, in some cases it cannot be neglected. In induction machine I cannot neglect no load copper losses. though it operates on the same principle as that of transformers, though the vector diagrams and the equivalent circuits are similar to each other, but like I neglect no load copper loss in transformer, I cannot neglect no load copper loss in induction motor, because induction motor draws more than 50% of the full load current at no load condition. Okay. Hence, the losses those will occur at no load in winding will be considerably present. Therefore, I cannot neglect that. But in general, at no load, whatever the power is drawn by the machine is all completely contributing to the loss. So therefore, you can write, since at no load copper losses are neglected, okay, the input power drawn will contribute for iron losses, iron or core losses. Therefore, core loss is equals to V1 into I naught. Okay, core loss is equals to V1 into I naught. Therefore, I naught is equals to core loss, okay, in watts. This is watts divided by V1. Now, if I know what are the core loss, then automatically I can get what is the no load component. Okay, sorry, IC. Okay. So core loss component is IC, contribute for loss. All the losses those are occurring at no load condition, okay, are because of the current IC. So therefore, the core loss component is given by IC is equals to core loss in watts divided by V1. Okay. Then how can I give magnetizing current? So magnetizing current IM is given by magnetizing current IM is equals to magnetizing ampere turns divided by T1. Magnetizing ampere turns divided by T1, number of turns in primary. So IM into T1 will give the total ampere turns, magnetizing ampere turns. So magnetizing ampere turns divided by primary turns will be the magnetizing current. Okay. So this is the general equations. These are the general equations how to get my IM and IC. Okay. Because I cannot use the formula IM is equals to I naught sin phi naught and IC is equals to I naught cos phi naught, because I don't know I naught. I am still at the design stage, so I may not be knowing exactly what amount of no load current is drawn by the transformer. That can be practically evaluated when I connect the transformer after fabrication. But I can still find out the no load components of I naught, that is IC and IM, and I can give a designed value, a prediction through design, that this will be the amount of no load current I naught equal to under root IC square plus IM square. But to do that, I need to know what is IC and IM based on the design input or the designed values what I will be designing in this for the particular transformer. Okay. So how we can proceed to get I naught by knowing IC and IM through the design process we will look into now. Okay. So let us say let LC, okay, and LY be the length of core and length of yoke respectively. Okay, LC and LY with the length of core and length of yoke respectively. So what does this imply is, this will give length of flux path. Okay, so length of flux path, how will be the length of flux path? Moment, I will just. So this is the core. So I will provide the winding on primary, secondary. I am not interested in winding now. Now this is the flux that is existing in the core. Now what is the length of flux path is the complete length of this path. Okay, so this will be the length of core and this will be the length of yoke. Length of core and length of yoke. Okay. So length of core, LY, LC and LY with the length of core and length of yoke respectively. Then ATC, okay, ATC and ATY be mmf per meter, mmf per meter in core and yoke respectively. mmf per meter in core and yoke respectively. So mmf required here, core means this part, okay, and yoke means this part. Okay, so this is core and this is yoke. Okay, I have marked a circle with some reason that we'll look into now. Okay, so what that four corners form are called joints. These are called joints. You know that the transformers are not made with the single stamping of this frame shape. Okay, those are made up of different stampings. The shape of, if I want to form a core of this shape, square shape, the stampings can be of this shape. By joining these two here, I will be getting a square shape, or stamping can be of two L shapes. Okay. So when I join these two here, those will form joints, and joints are considered to be equivalent of air gaps. Okay, so this is the core part, this is yoke part, this is joint part. So the mmf required here in the core is different, here in the yoke is different, here in the joints is different. So there are three parts of magnetizing mmfs in the transformer: core part of magnetizing mmf, yoke part of magnetizing mmf, joint part of magnetizing mmf. So the mmf required in joints will be slightly more than the mmf required in the core and yoke, because when I place the joints one over the other, okay, there will be formation of potential air gaps between any two laminations or group of laminations. So when there is air gap, then there will be requirement of mmf a bit higher when compared to the other core part. Okay, so core and yoke respectively. The total magnetizing mmf is given by total. Now I will be knowing what is this magnetizing ampere turns. Once I know magnetizing ampere turns, Number of primary turns already I have found out by the voltage value and the EMF per turn. Then divide magnetizing ampere turns with the number of primary turns, I get magnetizing current. Okay. So therefore, total magnetizing MMF, therefore total magnetizing MMF is AT naught is equals to AT1 is primary MMF, AT2 is secondary MMF, AT naught is magnetizing MMF. AT naught is equals to, okay. So there are two cores. This is also core and this is also core. MMF in this core plus MMF in this core. So ATC is what? MMF per meter in the core. How many meters I have? I have LC meters. Length of core here and length of core here. I have two lengths of cores. So therefore I can write here 2 into ATC LC. Okay. MMF per meter into length of core is the MMF in this core limb. MMF per meter into length of core is the MMF in the other limb or other core. So single phase transformer is having two cores on which the winding is placed. Therefore 2 ATC into LC plus I have two yokes. MMF per meter in yoke is ATY into length of yoke is LY. And I have two such yokes. So therefore 2 ATY LY plus I have joints here plus joints. So MMF at joints plus MMF at joints. Okay. So from where do I get this value of ATC and ATY? I can get it from standard BH curves of the material. Okay. ATC and ATY, okay, from standard BH curves. So whatever the value I am getting AT naught is the maximum value, because these my magnetizing ampere turns will produce my maximum flux phi m. Okay, these will produce, these AT naught will produce the maximum flux phi m, but I want RMS value. Okay, so maximum magnetizing current or RMS value of magnetizing current, RMS value of magnetizing current Im is equals to, I can write AT naught upon T1, okay, AT naught upon root 2 into T1. Why divided by root 2? AT naught is the maximum value, because this AT naught is producing, okay, the maximum flux. Generally I can give AT naught is equals to magnetizing MMF is equals to reluctance into flux in core. This is reluctance into phi m. Flux in core is phi m. Always maximum flux we have. So whatever the magnetizing MMF AT naught I have, these are the maximum values. This is the maximum value. So to get RMS value, divide maximum value by root 2. So I will get RMS value. So RMS value of magnetizing current is AT naught by root 2 into T1. Okay. Then what is core loss component? So core loss component IC is equals to, okay, iron losses by V1. Iron loss divided by V1. Let Pi being the iron loss or core loss both are same. Okay, therefore IC is equals to Pi divided by V1. Whatever the no load input power I get divided by V1 will give us the loss component of the no load current. Okay. How do I get the iron losses? That to know the iron losses, I should be knowing what are the loss per kg, and I should be knowing what is the weight of the core. Okay. Once we take up the example, we will get to know exactly how to get Pi. Okay. So it is not so directly we will be getting Pi. Okay. We have to calculate few things for that. Okay. Then no load current for 3-phase transformer. No load current for 3-phase transformer. So for 3-phase transformer, I will be having 3 cores and 2 yokes. Okay. So total magnetizing ampere turns in 3-phase transformer is 80 naught is equals to 380 C into LC, because I will be having 3 cores, one more core I will be having. So 3 cores is 380 C into LC, plus yokes will be only 280 Y into Ly plus MMF at joints. Okay. $80 naught T you can take total. And magnetizing ampere turns per phase, therefore magnetizing ampere turns per phase 80 naught is equals to 380 C LC plus 280 Y Ly plus MMF at joints divided by 3 per phase, divided by 3, and Im is equals to obviously RMS value, it will be 80 naught divided by root 2 into T1. 80 naught divided by root 2 into T1. Okay, and core loss component and MMF at joints, I have to define it. MMF at joints is equals to 8 into 10 to the power 5 into Bm into Lg. Okay, where Lg is effective length of air gap. Similar equation we have used with the same constant terms in length of air gap in DC machine. Okay, so Lg is, see the joints are considered to be effectively of length of air gap of some value. Okay, because we know that the MMF requirement in air gap is more than that in the core. So whenever I design a transformer, I assume for a particular joints a particular value of length of air gap, and when I substitute that length of air gap in this equation, I get the amount of MMF that is required to maintain the same flux. See, remember here the flux phi is having some value phi m. The value of flux in the yoke should be phi m, in the core should be phi m, in the joint should also be phi m. But the nature of or the structure of core is different, structure of yoke is different, structure of joints are different. Okay. So I have to be considering the MMFs at 3 different stages in the frame, at 3 different points in the frame, such that all the 3 MMFs will yield me the same flux. If the flux is different, then the transformer will not operate properly. I cannot have a different flux here in the corner, some different value of flux here, and the different value of flux in the core on the other side. Then my V1 I1 will never be equal to V2 I2 if the flux is different. Because the flux linking to primary and secondary is same, my total power is remaining constant. V1 I1 is becoming equal to V2 I2. Okay. And the loss component in three phase, loss component IC is equals to Pi divided by 3 into V1. Pi is the total three phase iron loss. Okay, divided by 3 into V1. So this is how I can get the components of no load current, and once I know the components of no load current, conveniently I can have the no load current value with me. Okay. So next we can have magnetizing volt amperes. So out of total volt amperes available, the magnetizing volt amperes will be there, loss volt amperes will be there, output volt amperes will be there. Okay. So whatever we consider V1 I1 equal to V2 I2, those are other than magnetizing volt amperes. Okay. So what are magnetizing volt amperes? We will see. So magnetizing volt amperes. Magnetizing volt amperes. So magnetizing VA magnetizing is equals to primary voltage is E1, magnetizing current is IM. V1 or E1 both are same. Okay, magnetizing current is IM. This is equals to, okay, E1 I can write it as 4.44 F into Bm into AI into T1. Phi I will be writing as Bm into AI, and Im I will write it as AT naught divided by root 2 into T1. Okay, so my T1 and T1 will get cancelled. So volt amperes magnetizing is equals to 4.44 F Bm AI into AT naught divided by root 2. So AT naught is equals to here AT naught is equals to mmf per meter multiplied by length of flux path. mmf per meter multiplied by length of flux path. Okay, so that is nothing but ATM mmf per meter. Generally mmf per meter will be same for core and yoke. mmf per meter, okay, into length of flux path will be the mean length of iron. This will be Li. This will be the mean length of flux path Li. So mmf per meter multiplied by the length, I will get total mmf. Okay. So AT naught is equals to ATM into Li. So that is magnetizing volt amperes is equals to 4.44 into F Bm into AI into ATM into Li divided by root 2. Okay. So weight of iron we have weight of iron is equals to volume of iron multiplied by specific weight. Okay, specific weight in kg per meter cube. Specific weight in kg per meter cube. So that is equals to, I can write volume of iron is what? AI into Li. Area of iron multiplied by length of iron, that is volume of iron, multiplied by specific weight. 7.8 into 10 to the power 3 kg per meter cube. Okay. So specific weight of iron is equals to 7.8 into 10 to the power 3 kg per meter cube. What does specific weight means is, if I take a iron of 1 meter width, 1 meter height and 1 meter length, it will form a cube, is it? 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter. Okay, so it will form a cube here, a cube structure like this, 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter. The weight of this 1 meter cube iron, silicon steel iron, is 7.8 into 10 to the power 3 kg. It is 7.8 tons. Okay, so that is the meaning of specific weight. So if I multiply it by volume, AI into Li, I get the total weight of iron. Okay, so here I can write, therefore AI into Li is equals to weight of iron divided by 7.8 into 10 to the power 3. Okay. So VAM is equals to 4.44 into F into Bm into ATM. I have AI into Li here. In place of that, I will write this weight of iron divided by root 2 into 7.8 into 10 to the power 3. 7.8 into 10 to the power 3. Okay. Therefore, Im is equals to Im is equals to magnetizing volt amperes divided by V1. So this will be given as 4.44 F Bm ATM weight of iron divided by root 2 into V1 into 7.8 into 10 to the power 3. Okay. So this is all about getting the no load components of the current and magnetizing volt amperes. So in the next class we will solve few examples and wind up this part of the design. Thank you.